All right, question of the day, where you guys ask me a question and I try my hardest to answer them. And this week's question is from Svanimir Baljak 3718. That's such an easy name to say. Thank you. He's asking, so you use backing tracks for live gig with band. Can you explain a little more about how you use them live and what equipment you use for them? So I think this was a question in regards of my last Sunday with Ola that I had, where I showed a little bit about the touring equipment and Yes, the MacBook that I'm using and that me and Joel, the bass player, will be playing through. He's saying you're using backing tracks live for with this band. Yes, we are. Just as a reference, you know, The Haunted, for instance, that I also play live with, we're not using backing tracks other than just intros. And things like that, they get triggered by Adrian, the drummer. He has a pad, he triggers the backing track, and then it goes for the intro, and then we just shoot off, and you know, that's what we don't play against the click or anything like that. It's just a backing track intro to build a hype for the song, and that's it basically. But for Ola Englund tour that we're gonna do in January, Escape the Internet, you can get tickets in the description. We're a trio right here. We're drums, we're guitar, and we're bass. But if you have heard my music, you've heard that there's a lot of synths. Stars and Ponies, for instance, have a lot of extra chiptune things. All of that is on a backing track. And I'm gonna show you, I figured I would just show you the Logic project that I'm working with. All right, so this is basically the project, right? This is Logic Pro if you haven't recognized this. But this is the project right here. We have different songs. Here's a song called Game Over. Oh, that's a new song, a single that I haven't announced yet. So I guess I sort of announced it right here. And then we have Hey Hunden and a bunch of other songs and shit like that. And I just wanted to show you the layout of how all of this is set up. First couple of tracks, you can see I have MIDI, I have time code, metronome, and cues. The MIDI I'm using not for guitar, it's actually to control Logic a little bit, because after I play a song, you know, and we finished off the song, I want the project to stop. So this MIDI section right there is gonna stop and move to the next marker, which is the next song, and stop the project. And whenever we want to go ahead with the next song, I just push play on a MIDI pedal. So very, very simple, very nifty. The second track is time code, and time code is something we use to synchronize lights with music. So this time code is on an audio signal that gets shipped to a light rig. And that will synchronize lights and screens and shit like that. And it's very advanced. I don't think you realize how much work is being put into this tour. So it's gonna be insanely cool. Then the next track is a metronome, which is basically just a click track that we all play to. You know, we all have that in our in-ears. But for some sections, maybe where I do a solo, I wanna, you know, feel it up a little bit more. I can mute the metronome for my in-ears while the others can listen to it. And that's what's so cool about Logic. I can, you know, really control all of that in here and make it absolutely perfect. And then the next channel is Cue, which is basically me cueing the song, saying what song it is, so I have a chance to be like, oh shit, it's not the right song, stop, go, and yeah. You basically get it. And then we start to have the input of the guitar, input of the bass, input for drums. Input for drums is basically just the drums that we have back from the real drum kit for our in-ear. So it's basically having an input of the live kit going in, so we can have the live kit in our in-ears. But this input guitar is the main input for my guitar, and this is the bass right there. So these two tracks are the live tracks that we're actually playing while the project is moving on, okay? And then down here we have extra DI guitars. And this is basically to cover up a second guitar if needed, or if there's some part that needs a second guitar. Down here, extra guitar, even more extra guitar. Then we have intros and outros, synth, drone, choir sometimes. At the bottom here I have something called Mute This, which is drums and bass, which is something I mute for the live show. But if I want to practice at home, I just unmute this and I can, you know, practice with the drums from the album, for instance. But obviously for live, all of that is muted, and this is what it looks like right there. I made colors and shit just to make it look a little bit easier and on the eyes. And all of these things are routed to different outputs on my PreSonus audio interface, and it goes into the front of house. So there's still a front of house engineer that mixes all of this and sets the levels and all that. It's close to bulletproof, I would say. And the more we rehearse with it, the more dimed it gets. It's insane. I'm technology, man. Just love it. Gotta love it. Anyways, I hope I answered your questions. What was the question? It was about backing tracks, but then I showed the whole... whatever.